For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Millions would tune in to catch the highly anticipated Elite Eight matchup between Iowa State and LSU, led by Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, respectively. Reese and LSU would fall 94-87 in what many considered a rematch of last year's championship game. Even though both teams fought hard and were supported by their fan bases, the rivalry between the two has led some to cause division in making the matchup about race. One user on social media would sum up this story by writing, "Grown adults making it a race war for no reason, whole time they're cool in real life." All throughout the game on Monday night leading into Tuesday morning, some users on the internet showcased their ignorance when commenting on LSU's loss. Another user would say, "Man, there's some crybaby cookies being eaten in Baton Rouge tonight. LSU with their group Ghetto Punks falls to Iowa in an amazing game." Another would write, "Seeing that ghetto sloth-looking Angel Reese and that witch-looking Kim Mulkey get sent home brings a smile to my face." After the game, Reese herself spoke with the media to express her journey since winning last year's championship and being catapulted into the spotlight. Reese would say, "I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats, I've been sexualized, I've been threatened. I've been so many things and I've stood strong every single time. I just try to stand strong for my teammates because I don't want them to see me down and not be there for them. I'm still a human." Now, even though Reese has been labeled as a villain when competing against Clark, by now it's clear that the two have respect for one another and are only super competitive. Reese's teammate Flaw J. Johnson would come to her defense when it came to the media portrayal of Reese. Let's take a look at this clip.
Everybody could have their opinion on Angel Reese, but y'all don't know her. Like, y'all don't know Angel Reese. I know Angel Reese. And the person I see every day is a strong person, is a caring, loving person, bro. The crown she wears is heavy, bro. She's the type of teammate that's gonna make you believe in yourself. The leap that I took from my freshman to sophomore year, Angel gave me that confidence to go be a dog. And I'm so proud of her. Like, the media, y'all, how they like to twist and call her a villain and all of that, y'all don't know Angel, bro. I'm just happy that I get to play with her. I get to be around her presence. Her energy is different. She just make me a better player. She make me a better player, and that's what great players do.
Joining me to discuss this is our very own Danielle Miller. Danielle, I want to hop right into this. Amazing game. I'll start there because I actually watched the game. It was an amazing game. And now we see this outpour of reactions from people. What's your reaction to it?
Why every time? Like, why? That's literally my reaction to it. Why every time? And I'm looking at the tweets overshadowed what happened last night, in my opinion, and also the article from the editor of the LA Times, because it's like, why we always have to go down this road when it comes to this team, especially because we had, in sports is competitive, and what gets me too is like, it's sort of like women aren't allowed to be competitive. Like, they're in sports. Caitlin and Angel, they hug after the game. You know, they do their little to do. That's just, it sort of like reminds me, I saw it this morning, Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas, how aggressive they get. Those two get aggressive because they're passionate about the game. But why does it always have to end in a race war at the end of the day?
Absolutely. I want to read a tweet because somebody, feels the same way. And a lot of people are, because it's just like, what are we doing? One user wrote, "Y'all look for anything to push a narrative. LSU always leaves the court at the same time and doesn't come back until later. This has always been the routine. It's just selective outrage by people who don't even watch women's basketball. Y'all just glisten at the opportunity to be racist." Now, in this tweet, Danielle, to give our viewers some context, a lot of people, including I saw in the interview after, even I heard a reporter ask the coach, "Hey, why weren't you all present for the national anthem? Was this strategic? Did you plan this? Did you want to do it?" And of course, she did deny and say, "No, we have a way that we do things. There's just a way that we've been doing it, and I don't even know when the national anthem comes on." So I want to get your thoughts. Why do you think people are upset? And bringing in now, like, "Oh wait, you weren't on the court during the national anthem. Did you?" Now I'm upset and angry with you towards this. Why do you think people are upset about that?
Nitpicking. It happens when you have a name, when you have a name. That was a big two big teams playing last night. And it's just the media trying to get something out of them, trying to ignite things. So I think that's basically what it was. There was no logical reason behind it, in my opinion. It was just to spark the fire, to fuel the fire. That's all it was. Angel Reese and Caitlin, come on now.
Now, what I find funny, Danielle, is a lot of people are quick to come to the or be outraged when someone doesn't stand for the national anthem, or they're not present during the national anthem. So I was just like curious, like, have I ever read the lyrics to the national anthem? And I'm just gonna read one line, this one line, because to me it's just like, to be outraged about one thing but not about this blows my mind. So here it says, "No refuge could save the hireling and slave." Now, to me, Danielle, here we are in 2024, and people are focused about whether somebody was on the court or off the court or standing, which has nothing to do with them. It does not impact them at all. But yet we have a national anthem, and I want to talk about what you all have over there and what you experience. But to have something there, I would think you would want to focus here. I would feel like there would be much more energy here to hear, something like this read. Oh, no refuge could save the slave. I want to get your thoughts on that. And also, over where you are, do y'all experience racism? Do you have a national anthem? What is the energy like there compared to what it is here?
Somebody, I don't know why you're trying to verse to me. I literally, do I know the U.S. national anthem in entirety? No, I know the first few words. And I think too, now y'all don't kill me, I think a lot of persons don't know either the words of the national anthem. And sometimes you can be singing something and not aware because it's indoctrinated into you, right? We do have a national anthem here. Our national anthem was written by Timothy Gibson. Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahama Land. I could sing the whole thing, but y'all ain't come here to hear my voice. But in terms of racism, do we experience it? Not heavy like you. I mean, it's very isolated incidences. We're a predominantly Black country. I won't be ignorant and say, no, it don't happen. No, there's very isolated incidences. But here's the thing, I can empathize with you guys, especially in this case right here, because when it comes to female and separating me as a human being by me as a color, and also adding my gender onto that, and I'll explain what I mean by that. When I watched Serena Williams' documentary, and she had to tell the doctor, look, I think that something is wrong with me. We're talking about Serena Williams. And she had to fight for them to check her to find out that she needed to be rushed into surgery because her life was on the line. When you look at somebody like Beyonce, who experienced racism when she was at a function, and that got done, we're talking about Beyonce. So imagine the average woman in America. So I have to empathize with in this particular conversation, I have to empathize with the women. And I really think that what needs to happen is the separation of color needs to be, I can't even say ended. I think what needs to happen is a real conversation has to happen about what both genders face, men and women, and find out how we can be a support system to each other. Because the reality is, for y'all in the US, it's not gonna end. And for us here in the Bahamas, what we experience sometimes is classism. And it's all a judgmental system where people tend to group you by how they perceive you and how they see you. And it's never a good feeling.
Absolutely. One thing I heard you say earlier about, and even seeing the pride in like, oh, I know my national anthem, right? I can give it to you all. I know you say, we're not here to hear your voice, even though I would love to. I think we're so quick to get behind things, like you said, and be so prideful of things that we haven't done any research on. We have no real idea of what it means. So I actually want to read a column out of Washington Post that talks about that reference that I speak to. So they said, the reference to slaves is about the use and in some sense the manipulation of Black Americans to fight for the British with the promise of freedom. He also noted that Black people fought on the American side of war as well. So, I think so many times we see in these different instances, obviously this one, they're pulling everything out of a bag to try to make this about race when it has absolutely nothing to do with it. This is a competitive sport. But since we're here and since you want to bring it in, y'all want to be so upset about things, I would challenge you to do some research about what you want to be upset about. If you're going to be upset about them not being on the court during the national anthem, do you really know what it means? Do you know every single word? Do you know what every line means? Really do the research. Close us out, Danielle. What are your thoughts? Do you think there's a solution to situations like this? Do you think this is a thing that's going to exist, or do you think there's some type of solution here?
It's going to continue to exist. There's in every system there's judgment. Like I said, we don't experience racism on a large scale. It's isolated, but we do experience classism. Like people want to know where you're from, what school you're going to, so they can determine in their mind, okay, which category should I put you in, right? And even as simple as that LA Times writer being so confident in calling them dirty debutantes and thugs. And this ain't the first time that we've seen that happen. Last year, that's why I say, why every time these teams play, it's like a race war. Last year was the same thing. Angel Reese is a thug. Angel Reese is this. Angel Reese, like what is going on? And I don't think that it will end. This has been going on for a very long time. And the only thing that I think can happen, the only solution is for us to stick together and love one another. I saw one of the Caucasian players said that, you know, she's there for her teammates because she's heard the things that people have said about her, and she's had to stand up for her Black teammates as well. And I think that's the only thing that can happen, because in this world, love and hate is going to exist. But at the end of the day, love has to overshadow all. And we as a community also need to stop being jokey. There are other communities, when you say something about them, they starting on business. They are not playing. And I think in this case, we need to do the same thing. We are really wishy-washy, and that's across the board. We as a color, we wishy-washy. We need to stand on business. That LA Times writer took him 2 days to issue an apology. 2 whole days to issue an apology. And you still there. You're still working there. So that's mind blowing to me. So is there a solution? The only solution is love at the end of the day, and it will always be present.
Yeah, Danielle, I'm with you, everything that you said. And honestly, like, I'm so tired of being mad. Like, I'm ready for some organized strategic anger. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, something with a call to action, because one thing for sure and two things for certain, Danielle, racism is embedded in the cloth of America. So like you said, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be here. It's going to be present. And like you said, when I see articles, and I want to mention him by name. His name is Ben Bolch, I think. When he labels this game as America's sweetheart versus the basketball villains or the dirty debutantes, still have a job is crazy to me. Because like you said, if this was any other group of people, he would have been lost his job. It wouldn't have taken him 2 days to apologize, for one. And for two, he would not still have a job. So I'm just tired of being mad with not having a place for that energy to go. Because the thing is, if you don't have a place to funnel it, like these people where, you know, once you get upset about something, somebody being racist, you already know you have an infrastructure that's going to handle it. I won't mention a certain group because we know we don't need to get taken down, Danielle. You know, but we know what group you say anything wrong against them, and their infrastructure is going to step in for that individual and reprimand you. So we need a place to funnel it, because here's the thing, Danielle. When we don't have a place to funnel this anger, we're going to continue to wake up with anger. We're going to continue to work with anger. We're going to love it. We're going to teach our kids with this anger. And ultimately, it's going to hurt us more than it hurts these uneducated races. And I want to say one last thing before I close out. Last night was a phenomenal game, Danielle. I stayed up all night watching the game. It was a phenomenal game. And we're so focused on this race stuff when literally last night was a pivotal point for women's sports. I read a report that said the NCAA women's tournament is set to make history, outperforming the men's game. And that isn't putting men against women, so don't come in here with that. But let's just let the facts be the facts. Women's sports has been pooped on for far too long. And last night was a representation that women's sports are competitive, entertaining, and lucrative. So I'm excited for women's sports. I'm excited for women's basketball. Caitlin Clark did her thing. Angel Reese, she did get hurt, but she still pushed through. To see Flau'jae as a sophomore leading her team the way she did, it was a phenomenal game, Danielle. I don't watch basketball that much, But last night I was tuned in as if I've been watching all season, like as if I've been watching all night. You know what I'm saying? Like it was very competitive. It was entertaining to watch, and I'm glad that a lot of people tuned in. So hopefully, as we see this tournament continue, the racism, it's going to be there, but I hope it's not. It doesn't have as much light shined on it, and we really be able to focus on these women that's killing it and making history. So that's my 2 cents or 5 cents or whatever we want to call it, Danielle. But I'm going to let us head out. Before we go, of course, you always provide us with beautiful views. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
I always freestyle this question, like always. So what do I have coming up? I have Comedy Hype. I have here on Comedy Hype. I have our news. Remember, entertainment and lifestyle reporting. All that is going on here in the Bahamas. You can follow me on Instagram at DEEA Miller. Also on Twitter, same thing. YouTube, Danielle, DENIE, LLE. I almost forget how to spell my name. And then Facebook, DENIELLE. And that's it.
Well, thank you again, Danielle, for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about the racist reactions to LSU's loss to Iowa State? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Put it in the comments, maybe.
Oh, you feeling my shirt? Well, I'll tell you where I got it from, but it's a bit of a secret. Nah, it's the Hype Market. TheHypeMarket.com. This is where I get all my exclusive pieces from Black-owned to cool-owned brands. Every brand has a story, and you get a chance to figure out who and what you're spending your money on. I mean, they even have spaces for you to use. Come here. They even have tickets for events and exclusive joints just like this. Oh, now if you excuse me, they just dropped some new art, and I think it's time for me to add to my collection.